This week I'm going to build an exercise mirror. That's what I'm calling it. It will be a large mirror in the center and two chalkboards on each side with the idea that you can write your exercise down. And if you want to build this project, I will have a drawing and a cut list that you can find on my website. The first step in the project is to make a face frame. And I've already cut the material for the face frame, so now I'm ready to start building. The Kreg Jig I'm using, people ask me about this all the time. It's an old pneumatic Kreg Jig, and there's a little foot pedal on the floor. It just plugs into my compressor. Press on the pedal. That closes the clamp and keeps it nice and secure. And it works great, but I don't think they sell this model any longer. With the face frame put together, the next step is to use the router and cut a 1/4 inch rabbet joint in the back of the frame to accept the mirror and the two chalkboards. I'm using 1/2 inch MDF for the chalkboards. You could use 1/4 inch, I just happen to have 1/2 inch MDF. So I'll need to make 2 passes with the router because 1/2 inch is just too much to take off with 1 pass. I'll need to straighten out the rabbet joints or the inside corners for the mirror because that has a right angle. Now I'm making molding for the outside of the frame. This is what I'm going to use to band the edge. And because I use my outfeed table as my work table, I try to do all of the table saw work that I'll need to do, otherwise I have to move things out of the way. So right now I'm attaching a molding cutting blade to the table saw. This is to make 3/4 inch cove molding. And I've set a feather board up on the table saw. And again with the cove molding, it would be just too much material to take off in 1 pass. So I take 1 pass and then raise the blade and take a 2nd pass. And now I'm ripping the molding on the table saw. And it's easier, I think, to flip the molding over and finish the cut on an awkward piece of wood like this, as opposed to trying to push it through with a push stick. Now I'm ripping the 1/2 inch MDF to size. This is what I'm using for the chalkboard. And I often use a penny to round over the corners so it will fit into the rabbet joint. Now that I've finished working with the table saw, I'll put the frame back onto the work table and attach the molding to the side of the frame. I just finished banding the edge of the frame with a piece of molding that measures 3/4 inch by 2.5 inches deep. And I used a piece of scrap wood to make sure I was attaching the molding in the right place, basically keeping the bottom of the molding flush with the bottom of the scrap wood. And that's to accommodate a French cleat. That's how I'm going to hang this frame when it's finished. The next step is to picture frame the inside of the frame. And for that I'm using 3/4 inch cove molding. I made this earlier on the table saw, but you can buy cove molding at any home store or lumber yard. This will be a small piece of molding that I'll attach at the bottom of the frame, and it creates a tray with the cove molding to hold the chalk. For the chalkboards, first I primed them with an acrylic primer on both sides, and now I'm painting them with the chalkboard paint. I've set the table saw to 35 degrees, and now I'm making the French cleats. I'll attach cleats to the back of the frame, a cleat to the wall, and this is how the frame will hang. I'm attaching the cleat to the wall with masonry screws, and you need to pre-drill into the wall first with a masonry bit in your drill and set the drill on the hammer drill setting. You can see that I'm using a laser to level the cleat. This is the Leica laser level. I got this about a year ago. It's a really handy tool, and it's making this part of the project a lot easier. Let's just put this on the wall and see how level it is. And then I'll put the final coats of paint on it and put the mirror and everything in it. So you see how that is? Just slide that up. It'll drop right in. Okay, so now let's take it down and now paint it up, and we can put it on there for good tomorrow. This end goes up, and we're gonna let it hit the cleat, and then slide it right on top. Or we could go maybe just a little bit above it. Okay, then just drop. Yep, that's it. Pretty nice, huh? Well, that wasn't too difficult of a project, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. If you want to make this project, I will have a drawing and a cut list that you can find on my website. While we're down here, you can see this is going to be another project that I want to tackle soon, and that's to make some kind of a temporary wall that will hide the furnace. Something that I'll talk to my friend who's an electrician and another friend who's a plumber and make sure that I don't build the wall too close to the furnace, and also make sure that I can remove the wall very easily so when the furnace needs maintenance. But right now it just doesn't look nice, and the ping pong balls end up behind the furnace. It's just kind of one of those things I'd like to get done. There's a project over here. If you haven't seen this video, this is the ping pong paddle and ball holder. This is a pretty recent video, and this is an older video. This is how to make a ping pong table, and I'll have links to both of those videos in the description. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.
Let's do it.